parsha we find the first mitzvah. This mitzvah, Rashi already writes in the beginning of the Torah, Parashat Bereshit, that actually the entire Torah was supposed to start with our parsha, Parashat Bo, and the first mitzvah is HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem. When we do look into this mitzvah, it's unusual and it's, let me say, makes no sense. Why did Ribono Shel Olam chose to start the Torah or the mitzvot? Because Torah comes from the words in Hebrew, hora'ah, which means to direct, to tell you what is the right way. Meaning mitzvot is an essential part of Torah. So why does the Torah start from the mitzvah of Chodesh Hazeh Lachem? What is the meaning of this mitzvah? The pshat is that Ribono Shel Olam says that the first month that we count is the month of Nisan. When we do look into it, what is the purpose for that? The answer, it's a very quick but very deep, and I want to share it with you. The answer is as follows. Bnei Israel in Egypt were slaves. Slave have nothing for himself. He is not owning anything. He's a slave. And even if the slave is resting under a tree, sleeping, he doesn't have a time. Why doesn't he have a time? Because any moment his master can come and tell him, do that or do that. Meaning, even if he thinks he has a time, he's not owning the time. The time is not his. He is a slave. Even his time belongs to his master. Ribono Shel Olam comes and doesn't say to Bnei Israel just, Chodesh Nisan is the first month that you should count from Nisan. Yes, it is part of this mitzvah to start counting from Nisan to remember the Geulah, as the Ramban says. But furthermore, HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem, Ribono Shel Olam comes to those slaves, our nation, in Egypt, and tells them, you are those who control the time. The time is yours. From now on, you owning the time. And if you own the time, find the right things to do with it. Because time, it's a gift. Mitzvah is a gift. And that is the purpose, dafka, for Bnei Israel in Egypt. When they're slaves, Ribono Shel Olam comes and gives them the first mitzvah, the first order, which is actually the first gift, the gift of the time. But I want to share with you a quick idea, a quick story that enable us to know how to use our time better. Once, a professor in university gave a lecture to his students regarding time. He brought a nice aquarium from glass and he took stones from his pocket and he filled it up all with stones. Then he approached his student and said, do you think we can put more stones into it? And the students look and says, no, it's full. So he took tiny stones from his pocket and he started to fill in between the big stones, tiny stones. And then he filled it up and he looked at his students and says, can we put more stones into it? And they say, stones we can't. And then he took sand from his pocket and filled it all with the sand. And he approached the student and asked them, is it full now? They said, yes. Can we put more sand? They say, no. Can we put something else? And the students didn't know what to answer. They say, yes, we can put water. And he put water on top of it and it's almost packed and full. Then he approached his student and said, now comes my question. Can you please tell me what did I try to teach you by that? The students look at him. One thought he's smart and says, Professor, I think you were trying to teach us that when we do want, we always have time. And the professor says, no, that's not what I wanted to teach you. I wanted to teach you something totally else. Because if I would fill this aquarium with sand, I had no place for the stones, big stones, for the tiny stones. The only reason I had time is because I put the heavy stones first, then the little stones, and then the sand, and then the water. Sand, chol, things which are not holy, can fill all our life. If you fill your day with sand, you will not have no more place for stones, small stones, big stones. Each and every one of us has to know how to control this time, how to use this gift. First, put the stones which are important for you, for your family, for your relationship with the Ribono Shel Olam, with Torah, with Am Yisrael, with Eretz Yisrael. Those little stones, trust me, you'll have plenty of time to decide. Shabbat Shalom.